Before we get into the music and the singers who are going to perform for you this afternoon, it is a genuine pleasure and a huge privilege to introduce you to Brenda's daughter, who's going to introduce the concert a little bit, tell you a little bit about Brenda Wootton before we start and share some memories with you. So ladies and gentlemen, if you would, I'd like to give a very warm welcome to Ellery.
If I had £1 for every time I've been asked, do you sing like your mother? I'd be a wealthy woman. My stock answer was always no, but I clap well. So I usually managed to avoid performing on stage. I was delighted when Merv Davey told me that Lowender Peran was planning this Brenda Wootton anniversary concert, but a little less so when he said he wanted me to do a short introduction at the start. Before I finish, I was hoping to take a break here and do something which Brenda always liked to do when she could, and that was to introduce her grandchildren to the audience. Can I have Davy, Jan, Tegan and Aaron? Can you come up and just say hello to everybody? Everybody's been asking me all this weekend about Davy and Jan. I think probably the last time some of you saw them, they were about this big.
We're a bit bigger now.
They're a bit bigger now.
A little bit.
Yes. So this is Brenda's 2 grandchildren and 2 of her great-grandchildren, and there's another one of Davy's up in London. So thank you for coming. Brenda loved the spirit, the warmth and the vitality of Lowender Peran and supported the festival whenever she could. And I know she would be thrilled to think that young people today are still singing this material and that her work is not forgotten but actively enjoyed, performed and still much loved. I have hundreds of songs that Brenda sang, which I'm hoping will be properly archived and made accessible to any and all who want to sing them. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what the invited artists today will make of it all. So let's get back to that, the important thing, the music. Thank you.
Now, we have something very special here today, actually. You all know her very well, probably through her singing. And today she's going to tell us some stories for Cornwall. Big hand, please, for Brenda Wootton. I don't think storytelling is anything new to her because I heard her wooing the French and the Bretons for their stories. So I'm sure she's going to do the same for us today. Thank you, Brenda.
Gift of the gab, I guess. Now, you see, my mother, Lean Ellen Rowe, she was a lovely singer and very shy. My father, Angus Ellery, was not at all shy, and the only tune I ever learned that he sang to me as a baby was Down Among the Dead Men, and that wasn't even in tune. So I got a bit of father and a bit of mother. And what I'm, because of the fact that I'm very busy and that storytelling doesn't, although I grew up with a serial story that lasted all my youth, all my daughter's youth, and he was telling the same serial when he died some time ago, my dad. But what I'm going to do is I write a lot of dreadful poetry, as we call it, doggerel rhyme about anything that happens to me, or any incident that I think is worth keeping, and then I just stick it all in a big book. This is something that happened, well, it's dated August the 30th, so it must have happened on the 29th of August. And this is true. It's called The Night We Got the Goats. We was home the other night, comfortable and all contented, bit of telly and a book, not caring if it snawed or entered. There's a thud, and then a bang. Must be Concord, s'pose, says I. My dear life, the window's shaking, get white face against the sky. Then another, oh my lord, breath is chucking in my throat. Look upon our windowsill, get Big Billy and his goat. Well, we tried to push and pull, phoned the neighbours all around. Nobody could help it seemed, owner just could not be found. Tried to sleep, but no avail. Constant bumping, scrape of oof. Squint through curtains, they squint back, banded eyes with gaze aloof. 4 o'clock, and I'd not blinkered. Next thing John is up about, come on, maid, we must do something, got to get these buggers out. The farmer had to go and foundered. Rang police, RSPCA, our poor garden devastated. What a way to start the day. Tried to coax them, guide them, mow them, take them out across the yard. We was skidding on the concrete where they'd left their calling card. Got one tethered down the lane, straight into the field next door. Back home, smiling, turned, oh no, they're back gazing through once more. Raining, pelting, wettest right, found ourselves a bit more rope. But Miss Nanny, she'd got crafty. To catch her now, there was no hope. Billy was a bit more friendly, got him down from off the wall. Difficult, because when reared up, he was over 6 foot tall. Inch by inch and cooing gently, got them back into the barn, bolt the door, and turned to go. John's inside, gives out a garn. There, I hear him say, giving them a bit of green. Finally, we squeezed him out. He was something to be seen. Milkman told us of the owners, and they came full of regret. They would take them straight away, hope that we were not upset. Suppose we were, just for a moment. For a while it rocked our goat. It's a night that we'll remember when 2 white faces got our goat. But they were this high, and you know, when they're coming at you with their heads down, it isn't very funny. And it was drawing it down with rain, you know. And this is another one, and this is again a true occasion. It's about my grandfather on my father's side, William Henry Ellery. And he lived and breathed and died horses. He had, well, I know Granny had 8 children, and then she lost one in between all of that lot. You know, she was... Well, they said every time the youngest child was on the bed, she was pregnant. And he died when I was only 4 years old, actually. All I remember is a great big fat man up in the bed, and he was bald, you know. Now, that's my memories of him, that were, and then what I was told about him. And then I grew up. I was a teenager sort of during the war, so just after the war, you can imagine that I was one of these girls that worshipped the cinema and the film stars, and I really thought I was somebody. This happened at St. Just. My granddad Ellery in Penzance, he died when I was 4. He'd been a groom most of his life and loved his horses sore. He'd brush their coats and clean their gear and talk to them like mad. And they'd do anything for he. They loved the boss they had. And at the ending of the day, he'd speak with smiles serene. They'd do their business on a spade to keep the stable clean, and that's true. We used to, I don't know what he used to say to them, but he'd hold the shovel out, and he'd say this word. You know, it's like switching on a washing machine. He ran the stable at the Queen's, sat proud on horse and carriage. The motor car put them aside when it became a garage. Now, he was very popular within the hunting clan, and buying, selling horses, well, they're worth a better man. Everybody knew him, why even up Pendeen, Land's End and Buryan, down St. Ives, and over Newlyn Green. And William Henry lived for them, heard not his children's breeches. He felt at home upon a horse, clad in they leather breeches. So, as all the Cornish do, they got him a nickname. Leather Ass Ellery, he was called. And he enjoyed the game. Now, this was long before I was born, and there'd been stories plenty. A character, that's what he was, and going bald at 20. My memories, of course, of him are really not too clear. They tell me he was very stern. To me, he was a dear. A big fat man in bed with gout, all to his bed with trips. I was his pet, his shyness, and he'd give me all his grapes. Now comes the time when growing up, and I was 17, and in the telephone exchange, and something to be seen. They sent me up St. Just to work to teach the lady there. Used to go up on the bus and get off in the square. Now all the girls about my age would follow movie stars and try and dress and be like them. 'Twas all proper farce. Veronica Lake, now she was the one, her hair all hanging down across one eye. 'Twas hard to see on how to get around. And me, my hair now just like that, I looked a real go-getter. Yet high-heel shoes with fancy straps and a naughty tight white sweater. There's me parading through St. Just, a proper Newlyn charmer, when stepping right in front of me this big red-faced farmer. I don't know who you are, my cop, but when I seen he pass, you must be some relation tall to dear old Leatherass. Well, I was shocked, for in my mind was that fat, bald man in bed. And then I thought of that farmer's face and of the things he said. He meant it as a compliment. He loved my granddad dear, the man who could charm horses and had never tasted beer. And so I walked with head held high. There was no cause to weep. It only goes to show the truth that beauty's just skin deep. Now I approach the years that I remembered at a smile. From photos, yes, I am like him. I'm Leatherass's child.